Hello, good yo-yo people. Let's talk trick construction. All right, today we are talking about constructing tricks, making tricks. I think of tricks in three parts: mounts, elements, and a bind. This is the best definition I can give to you of a mount. A mount is the part of the trick where the yo-yo can be completely stationary. Now typically it's not. Typically it's going to move from that mount into something else. But for instance, a double or nothing mount. This could just stay right here. It'd be kind of very boring, but that's a trick kind of in and of itself, right? But you're going to hopefully go somewhere with it. But it can stay there. It can rest there, completely stationary. The best definition I think I can give of an element are those parts of the trick that help connect those mounts, those other stationary parts. That's what gives tricks flow. That's what gives tricks flair and nuance. So even the same trick that one person throws, you can play it completely different by kind of messing with those elements a little bit and make it sort of your own. If you can look at tricks like say in a freestyle on stage, you can look at those things and break them down into mounts, into elements, and then the bind. And so if you can see that, maybe you can kind of teach yourself those tricks. So here's an example of a trick, one of my tricks, and I'll kind of show you what I consider the elements part of the trick and the mount part of the trick, and then finally the bind. All right, so here's how I break it down. So right away, I have a mount. Most tricks start with a mount. That's typical. So it starts with a mount, starts with a very basic mount, starts with a man on the flying trapeze. And then it's gonna go right into an element. See right there, I can't stop that kind of in between. That doesn't make sense. It's flowing from the first mount into the next mount. All right, so I'm gonna go on, I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna go double on, and then I'm gonna come out of it. And here, now I'm back in a mount. It can stay stationary. Here's another element, a little hook there, where I'm going to grab the back of the string, and then there's another element because it's transitioning from one mount to another, and then I'm going to go into another mount, and then I'm going to do a pop. All right, and then I'm going to go around, and that's another element, and then I'm going to pop again into a GT, and that's another element, and now I'm in a mount, pop up, I'm going to go back on, double on, and now I'm in the final mount, and then I'm going to give a little flair with another element, and then I'm going to bind. Maybe. The other advice I would give is that learn as many different binds as you can. So I feel like certain binds work different for different tricks. A lot of binds, a lot of tricks I end with sort of a side bind like that, but in this trick, I'm kind of doing this pop-up motion, and so it just makes sense to do a sky bind. I felt like it fit the trick best. And so learn as many binds as you can as well. The advice that I always give to new players is to learn as many mounts as they can, learn how to get in and out of them as many ways as they can possibly can, experiment with that even. So if you're learning, for instance, a wrist mount, learn the classic way of getting into it and out of it. And then maybe learn a different way. The other thing I would say is learn as many elements as you can. And learning those different variables will help you be able to build tricks that are your own, but also not just tricks of your own, but a style that you can call your own and you can develop over time. Developing a style does take time. Probably for me, it took a couple of years or so till I really began to narrow down a style that I felt that fit me and that I enjoyed playing with, and so that's still developing, as I learn more tricks, as I get better. I think that's the simplest way I can put it, is that it's mounts and elements and binds. And so again, if you're watching a freestyle, if you're watching other people play tricks and you're like, I want a tutorial, tutorials are helpful, but it's also a really good skill to be able to learn how, as you develop in yo-yoing, to learn how to break down those tricks by just looking at them and kind of breaking them down in your mind, breaking them down in those three parts of elements and binds and mounts. You'll be able to hopefully understand how tricks are constructed. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any advice that I didn't cover or things that you could offer that would be constructive, certainly put them in the comment box here. That's going to do it for today. And as usual, good day and good yo-yo.